I stopped posting videos on this channel about 2 years ago, and every now and then I come back to look at my analytics, and I'm surprised there's still so many people watching my old videos. So thank you very much for that. And I thought it would be kind of fun to get a little bit of closure for this channel and post a little bit about what happened. Why did I stop making YouTube? Why did I stop playing Bannerlord? And this is sort of divided maybe into two parts. First, there is the more personal reasons, and then there are the reasons related to Bannerlord itself. So maybe not everything is going to be interesting to everybody, but we'll see. So first of all, why am I making this video really? First reason is that over the years, there were a couple times I was planning on coming back to making videos and I didn't do it ever. For example, when the full game release was, I was supposed to come back and make some more runs, make some more speedrun videos. I never did that. So I did feel a little bit bad for all the people I told I would come back, but I never did. Second reason is that I started making videos again on my second channel recently, and I thought this would be good practice of talking to camera and getting confidence and just like, speaking more smoothly. It's not always perfect, but I can try to do my best and try to learn. And third reason is, of course, like in case I still have any fans, for example, fans of my modding content, if any of them would see this and it would maybe raise awareness of my new project, even if one or two people would fall into that category, it would be great help to me to get some people who trust that my stuff is good, get them interested. So those are my three reasons why would I come back, make this final closure video. And so first of all, the personal reasons. So if you look at the date when I stopped uploading Bannerlord videos, it's about a couple months into the full-scale invasion of Ukraine by Russia. And my family had some connections to Ukrainian people, so I ended up taking some refugees to live in my house when some refugees wanted to flee Ukraine. And at the peak, there was, I think, 14 people living in my home, all refugees. So that took considerable amount of my time. And at the time, I couldn't really, I made like the last final videos and then I kind of stopped producing for a while. So that's like the personal reason number one. I guess one personal reason is also that I wasn't enjoying the video making process that much. Especially the more edited videos, they always seem to flop. The editing just took too much time, and that's also why my new project is actually my own video editor. So to sort of help the video editing process for me and hopefully for other people, I made this transcript-based editing software. So third reason might be a little bit harsh to some of you, but I didn't really like the community that was built around this channel. So I think this is a problem that a lot of gaming communities face, but I felt like all the interactions were rather impersonal. Like either it's comments about the game and people talking about the game, or when I was starting doing more modding content, it was mostly about, can you help me with this? How do you solve this problem? How do you do a mod like this? And it was maybe a little bit of a surprise to me because I had been part of some very nice online communities where people had actually interesting talks about themselves, interesting connections. And I just felt like the gaming stuff wasn't really doing it for me. I'm not sure if this is like completely universal thing to everything gaming related, or if it was just the way I presented myself that attracted this. And if you're one of the people who actually had a nice connection with me, okay, or like had nice talks or something, then maybe it's surprising to hear me say this, but oh well, just the overall vibe of the community wasn't really what I was looking for at the time. Um, so that's about it for personal reasons, I guess. Now I'm back to making videos on the other channel, I don't miss gaming. I don't miss Bannerlord at all. So I guess that's one of the reasons as well. I just didn't like the game anymore that much. So then I guess we get to the more game related reasons why Bannerlord was not doing it for me. And this I think is going to be divided into 3 sections, kind of. So first of all, why the game is bad. Second of all, why Tale Worlds, the developers, are bad for the game. And third of all, why the developers, why Tale Worlds is bad for the modders. I was doing a significant amount of modding at the end, so I kind of got some insight into why some of the high-profile modders quit and why it's not very good for them. So first of all, why is the game bad? Well, I think it's supposed to be like a medieval simulator, and I think it does a really poor job of immersing you into the game. So first of all, like one of the very first things that sort of upset me, and this is like a very minor thing in the grand scheme of things, is that the armors and everything, the look is just wrong. There's no coherent. I know it's supposed to be like fantasy Roman thingy. It doesn't really work at all. Like a lot of the armors and stuff are like, motorcycle gang type of stuff. And I think this just like, shows kind of the lack of attention to detail in the design and in the process that they have. Like, for making sure that everything feels well, should be at least some sort of like authenticity and like historicity to it, even though it is like fantasy thingy. And there's some mods like the actual Roman mods that fix a lot of these issues, but I really would wish that the main Bannerlord would fix some of these on its own already. Um, Second thing is like, I don't know why they didn't ever fix like very basic things, such as like the armors being kind of useless in the gameplay. So the damage types, the cut damage, the plant damage, and the armors being very ineffective, and the archers being too good. Like if you want to min max, basically you always just grab a party of best archers you can, either Fians or Khans guards, and that sort of stopped being fun after a while. And also, well, in my speedruns, maybe this is also part of the reason why I didn't enjoy the game as much at the end, is that in speedruns, of course, you just auto-resolve all the battles. There's no reason to ever go into the actual battles themselves, which I guess is supposed to be a lot of the fun part of the game. So I guess the speedrunning kind of also kills it for me a little bit, but that's not the only thing. I mean, it would be passable if if the map itself was better, but the map itself is actually much worse. The economy doesn't make any sense. This again goes back to the immersion thingy. Like if the economy made sense, if the workshops made sense, if the city and the castle placements made sense. Like for example, on the forums, these are pretty active posts at the moment. These like people making alternative versions of the map with the castles in more strategic locations. This also goes back to like the whole it seems like they don't really care or don't know how to do like the basic level of historicity into the game. Like the castles are not protecting anything. Most of the cities are not even on water or anything. There's some of the control zones of the castles are like go across natural boundaries like mountains. Like there might be city on the one side and then mountain and village linked to the city on the other side of the mountain, which makes no sense because the closest land route is like very long between the village and the city. So there's like basic lack of attention to detail and authenticity when it comes to the historic stuff. I think the economy should get a lot more focus. If like the world map is supposed to be actually enjoyable to play in. And one actually very key thing is the skill system. So this is actually the most critical downfall of Bannerlord for me, is that the characters don't matter. It's supposed to be sort of character-driven game. It's an RPG after all, even though it's like a sandbox RPG. the skill system is just awful, plain awful. Most of the skills don't really matter. Most of the attributes don't really matter at all. All of the characters are the same. If the skills don't matter, all the characters are the same. Never are excited to pick up a companion. And this is something that, like, okay, people compare Bannerlord to Warband in a lot of ways, but I think the worst downgrade in Bannerlord from Warband is how the companions are boring in Bannerlord. So it's partly because in Warband they had handcrafted companions, and in Bannerlord all the companions are procedurally generated. The backstories are very bland, boring. It's also because the companion stats don't matter. I never cared. Stats never cared about leveling the companions. I guess the only exception is the stewardship skill. You do kind of want to have a one companion with decent stewardship, and maybe other ones if you want to make parties, clan parties with nice stewardship skills. There's another aspect of this, which is another aspect of the characters being very boring and sucky, is that there's no reason to really talk to any of the characters, like not just your companions, but also all of the nobles. Very rarely do you actually want to talk to or want to find any of the nobles on the map and form relationships with them, or with the notables. Like, okay, you do a quest for the notable and you get a little bit of reputation and you can recruit a couple more people from their recruit pool. That's not very engaging character interaction, and the quest design is very bland, very poor. None of the quests are very interesting. Never really want to do any of them. There's like basic level of sort of okay, so one of the things that takes me out of the game every time is when you just walk into the village, you're nobody, and they decide to give you a bunch of horses or a bunch of cows or something for nothing. This doesn't, like, okay, this is like maybe a little bit nitpicky, but it says again, shows like basic disrespect for period and the kind of relationship that you're supposed to build with other characters in this world. Like maybe if you did a couple of quests for them already and you sort of knew them, maybe then they would be fine with giving you their herd for safekeeping or something like this. Also, like very basic bugs like being able to, like, not bugs, but like, immersion breaking stuff, like being able to slaughter animals and then selling them for much more than the original animal was worth. Like, if surely the peasants would do that if it was so profitable. Also, the crafting system always being bad, and they made it even worse over the years by changing the ways how the unlocks work and all that stuff. And there was so easy ways to fix the crafting. At least I feel so, like, just make it so that you don't get such good materials from the basic weapons. Like, just to lock some of the better weapons behind skill and not this stupid unlock system, or at least make the unlocks be so that you can unlock the pattern when you actually destroy something of that type or something like that. And then make the daggers balanced in the sense of how much materials they give. It's not that hard, really. So all in all, the game was just not enjoyable. And it's a shame because, like, I think I have a lot of nostalgia for the franchise, and a lot of other people have a lot of nostalgia for the franchise, but in the end, I couldn't take it anymore, I guess. So then we get to the second category. Why is Tale Worlds bad for the game? Well, of course, if they were better for the game, maybe they would make a better game in the first place. Just community management, at least the English community. I don't know if the Turkish community management was any better, but the English community management was just very bad. They never tell what they're working on. They never tell, like, they don't really respond to any of the criticism. They don't take feedback very well. Well, yes, of course, development was slow. Tons of bugs. We kind of get to this in the third category. Why is the game bad for the modders? They just I guess the code was just too bad that they kept introducing more and more bugs, more and more crashes, more and more everything bad. They just couldn't keep it. They just couldn't keep it together, I guess. Um, just general disrespect for the community, I guess. Like, for example, like Fleson was making all of these like, oh, the caravans are broken again in this patch, please fix or something, and just like no response ever to any of these like cries for help. Basically, I don't know if the community stuff was completely. I don't know if the community stuff was completely like disconnected from the development, but it sure felt like that. Like a bunch of time they were doing stuff nobody asked for. I don't think anybody asked for voice lines. Um, and when the original voice lines, like the beta voice lines were so bad, then like why would you keep making bad voice lines? I don't know. It's just stuff that nobody asked for. So the third reason, how was Tail Worlds bad for modders? Well, again, they were doing lots of stupid changes that also affected mods, and also like making making breaking changes which nobody asked for. They kept moving stuff from different folders to different folders, different places, which doesn't achieve anything, but it breaks bunch of mods. Like quite often when there's new patch, the mods just break, and you're like, oh, why does this break? Well, somebody moved something to some other file or something, and it's complete busy work for everybody doing the mods, and it's very disrespectful because those changes don't really mean anything. They don't make the development clearly. They don't help Tailworld's own development because their own development still sucks after all of these moving files around changes. There should have been some sort of guarantees for API breaking for the modders, and in some extreme cases even like hotfixes broke mods. Like, how do you make a hotfix for a version that actually changes the API for the modders? It's just stupid. Also, I'm getting a little winded now from the walking and talking. So I think after Warband, they their worlds did sort of want the sequel to be more moddable, and because of that, they sort of introduced some patterns in the code that are supposed to, I imagine they're supposed to make the game more moddable, and like some of them work. Like basically the pattern is that instead of doing anything directly, everything is sort of everything is sort of loaded dynamically, so that there's like an extra layer of indirection everywhere, basically in the engine. Instead of just setting the item prices, you sort of define some sort of interface for the calculating the value of the item, and then there is like indirection, and then the actual value of the item is calculated somewhere else. This is like very basic second system problem. I feel like they just over engineered this system that nobody wanted, nobody asked for. Just having like basic campaign behaviors and having they have the system for like campaign behaviors, and that's fine. So you can load actual new functionality in the game. And then instead of all of this over engineering, I feel like they should have just embraced harmony as like I think the people do. So embraced reflection, like actual reflection through harmony, and let people actually have more control over how or have trust that the modders are gonna find the direct control to do some of these things, and then like just simplify the architecture by a lot, simplify the development. So this is like the only architecture, only code architecture thing that I'm gonna go into. But just working with the engine sort of was extremely draining because everything was so indirect. Nothing like where you think something is done, it's never done there. It's always some extra level of indirection somewhere else through some interface. That sort of takes a lot of time, takes a lot of energy and will to make mods actually. So all in all, just all of the personal stuff. Didn't really find enjoyment in making videos, didn't find enjoyment in playing the game, had other stuff to do, the game sucking, or well, the game being of poor quality. community being poor, all of these reasons sort of eventually led me to quit making these videos, making videos for Bannerlord, making gaming videos in general. And really thank you for everybody who watched my videos. And like I said in the beginning, I'm still always surprised to see that so many people are watching them. I get quite a bit of views and watch time still, even after not doing anything for this channel, which I'm very grateful for. It also gives like a not amazing passive income or anything, but like just a little nice bonus, since this channel is monetized after all. So if you are at all interested in watching my other stuff, my new stuff, I will leave a link in the description to my new channel for the video editor project that I'm doing. And really thank you so much for watching.